We are the biggest, we are the largest African spiritual platform. We are the mother of all spiritual platform. We are the biggest. We are the largest. We are now international. I welcome you to another great episode, my beautiful and my awesome subscribers and followers. I'm grateful. I appreciate your presence on this platform. You make us the biggest. My name is always Labraska, the Sun Goddess. You can call me the Spear of Destiny. I welcome you. And then me announcement kakrebi order for medical catchero. So platform when your platform obi abetu esika na wa draft questions ama yesi yembisa no. We are not playing any advert here. We are educational platform. Enti platform where 7 years. Oh, so I wouldn't what we do here. You know how it runs. Enti member platform ne so na member platform for from be advertise wa ha. Nembe exercise gullibility be ya wa ha no say obi level you low, obi level you high. We respect everybody. Obia no matter the level of that person, you respect it. You exhibit spiritual authority wa ha. So so platform no so learn with us. If you don't want to learn with us, you can exit. We understand your understanding. We know what you want. We know what you don't want. And yet, you fix a platform ne entire obia ajunimu. Enti embejina platform no so na embekase platform way obia o host you how you saying. So ufu so no ye powerful no what level ne predicament no fa ne power no enfanye ni ye. I don't want to get on anybody's nest, so don't come and get on my nest. We are investing, we care about people. We are not making money here. So here we give questions that will get us the best out of our guests. They understand, they enjoy, they sit. So if you are here, I welcome you. We are strictly educational platform. We are not advertising anybody. That is one. Two, when you see people on this platform and you are going and you don't ask my permission, when you go and you are eating, don't call me. I'm tired. I'm tired. Police if one me now I have given up. If you are going and you don't invite me, you don't tell me, no share me, no ya nasane, ka care me, ka chembe. I welcome you once again. You know how much I care about you people. This is the investment and everything is for you to practice spirituality all by yourself. Just groom yourself. You can do everything. Nobody is beyond God. Your God in you can do anything for you. We are just helping you to acquire knowledge, know the road, know how to maneuver to get through to yourself. Don't go and be a burden on anybody. It will be our problem. Nobody is beyond anything. I welcome you. Once I'm tired of complaints, but I'm not tired of you. So just open your eyes and learn and practice things gradually all by yourself and you will get there. I welcome you. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you so much. Welcome. Let's welcome our guest, Mr. F.B. Mensah. Or no, he's one of us. So Papa, we welcome you.
Thank you.
Okay, so you say hello to them and pay homage to them as usual, and then let us know what's going to happen today.
Okay, my chair telephone my try to make country no more.
Yeah.
My chair telephone revelation telephone my chair mo. And you say sometimes your course a chance and yaba. But send at the end yenye oyepem. As when we are directed and what information is supposed to come out, then we opt to bring it out into Michiamunyana. That's what I can say. Now, we will be big akra come before we started this topic.
All right. And
since this is the biggest and the largest spiritual platform in Ghana and Africa, and even getting to the world, Maame Grace, there's something happening to our planet.
Okay.
And say,
volume kakra na planet abem na serious case.
Yeah, planet Earth no nyama AC. Na yanhwe ye hunu ye because where your planet is headed towards no, we are heading towards total extinction, total destruction. I think 2012 some of the intelligences came to me and I'm catching me say in 2012 they were supposed to intervene within our planet and then get rid of her because they felt we were primitive and we're not living according to the cosmic intelligence manner. So I tried to negotiate with them. They said, okay, there's going to give us some time. Now, human beings should change the way we behave. But looking at the way we are going, it appears that there's no second chance. Because I have tried, well, any people are not making on air, but in my own small corner, I've tried to negotiate, I've tried to, talk things out with them. But they say, look, you people are trying, but they are not changing towards love. And there are other beings that are trying to infiltrate and
capitalize on the situation.
Yeah, and then they want to actually invade our planet's space because they think that we're not living up to the expectation of the Creator. And unfortunately, the kind of spiritual practice, the kind of awakening, and the kind of conscious awareness that we need to galvanize in order for us to create an opposite energy against the negative, yeah, and yet we don't get the people coming in. So I want to use this your platform, people should stop do it for me, and then begin to develop their own spirituality so that they can harness this spiritual energy of love from the cosmic intelligence, from the spiritual hierarchies, and intervene and then protect us. Because this is the only home we have. We need to bequeath this planet to future generations. We can't sit down for certain few elite in society who have taken advantage of certain intelligences and knowledge which is cost to our planet. Because when we say, we'll come to our planet, but this is very important because a message they asked me I need to. So lately I've done a lecture on that one. When we say, the intelligences that be, we have two types of intelligences. We have the...
Who promises a noble country?
Yeah, well, two types of intelligences are a control. Yes, you have the positive and the negative. As some time ago, we talk about the duality. No? Now, unfortunately, the negative intelligences, no, intelligence, some of the bad assassin and fit into assassin. No? Because for instance, when we say, my class cousin, when we say teteno, now you use 18 port. 18 port. Kuku, I think I'm right.
Are you one kuku?
Now, we share that the construction of the Ayuanu Kuku now, it comes out of the 4 elements. Because the universe was manifested out of 4 elements. So when we say, Ayuanu here, and here, asase, here, insu, here, eja, and here, inframa, to get this whole thing prepared. So to get Ayuanu, you formulate the Ayuanu out of the 4 elements. So because it comes out of the 4 elements, say here ni bioma, it naturally goes back to its source perfectly without any side effect. Gradually, they imported this foreign intelligence from their source, and then they replaced this Ayua with this plastics and all those things. See, and when this plastic is of no use to us now, it cannot go back to its source because where it is coming from and where it is, it doesn't fit perfectly. I'm just giving you a practical scenario. Until say the life we are living now and the adaptations are it is leading us into destruction. And the worst of it all is the introduction of the artificial intelligence. Because man must live according to the natural order, not artificial order. Now, those intelligences or the elites of society, they are trying to shift us from the natural way, divinity, equity, and so that we live in an artificial way. So everything divinity, equity, they are creating the artificial or the synthetic aspect of it. To the extent that, very soon, the responsibilities of all your media men will not actually be needed in the next future. Because their softwares are, intelligence AI softwares are, if you want to make a video, you just go in there, tell the software what you want to do, it will create your content for you, create your image personality, create your animation, create it within a span of 5 to 10 minutes. What I know is, according to the intelligences, when they give positive intelligence to a planet, that civilization is is designed that it will help the people as at the time that intelligence was given in that dispensation. That is the reason why we go in for civilization and technology. More people are unable to work because of they can bring an intelligence. Due to that intelligence, we need more hands to work. Unfortunately, the kind of intelligence we are having right now is going to get people out of work. And when you get people out of work, then that human ability is being killed. We come about several, you tell people to realize themselves. The era now, it is only those who have knowledge of themselves and have realized who they are can survive that era. Sometimes when I see some of the things that's going to happen, I feel so sad. And when I'm talking about it, I tend to have a nervous voice because and it's going to be a serious war, and unfortunately that misunderstanding, that conflict in our planet space, other terrestrial beings and that is the danger of it. The only way the spiritual hierarchies and intelligences can assist us as human beings is for us to lift our love consciousness and to come to that level of self-realization. So I tell people who come to me and say, look, at this juncture, the only thing I can tell you is invest as much as time, energy, and money and resources into realizing who you are. Because in the days ahead of us, this is the only way. But unfortunately, the intelligences that be also are aware of this solution. So they are doing everything to keep people ignorant of their self, who they are, why they're on this earth, and everything. Everything they design is to make sure that you don't realize it yourself. You don't even have the time to realize yourself. And this is where we are heading towards. So I'm taking this opportunity on this platform to encourage the audience, the wonderful audience of Revelation, to pay more attention to what you say, the people you bring on board, and then especially those who come in to teach you how to discover yourself, how to realize yourself, and how to harness the power within yourself. That is your true nature, and that is the only thing you have. Because in those days, what I have seen going to happen in those days, even your own children will no longer be your children. They're going to take the right of your children from you. All the so-called churches will be closed down. Religion will be shuttered. Actually, even spirituality will be shattered. All your investments at the banks will be taken from you. When you buy a car, you don't have authority over the car because the one who manufactured the car sitting in Germany or America can decide at any given point in time to put up the car. And there are even some cars right now like that. When Interpol cars, those sophisticated cars, when the person reports that the car has been stolen, wherever they've taken the car, the manufacturer can put up the car and you cannot put it on again. You cannot put it on ignition again. So this is the system they are trying to create. And they want to create the system based on a unipolar world system that one central government controlling everything happening on the planet Earth. But this contradicts the principle of natural order. Mm-hmm. So please, let us try as much as possible to invest much time. We are doing what we can do, but they are telling us that our energy is not enough because we need certain level of energy in order to draw their presence here.
Oh, it must be enough.
It's not enough.
Some of us have invested. It must be enough.
No, what we are trying to say is that the amount of love energy.
I know.
You see, it's one thing investing and it's one thing having the corresponding effect.
It will come.
You
will push more.
So that's why we are sending the message out there that we need people with love. Look at now the world inside we live. It's all about self-centeredness. Nobody have compassion, kindness, love is missing. Everything is about self-aggrandizement. Obia epe ahunya to the detriment of society, to the detriment of community, to the detriment of the planet and the universe. Look at our national leaders. When they come, instead of doing something for the collective good of the citizens, they try to exploit rather for themselves. Leaving the citizens, then the citizens begin to absorb pain, agony, and anguish. Now, these negative emotional feelings like pain, agony, jealousy, lasciviousness, covetous that the Bible talks about, what it does is that it feeds energy, because everything in this planet is energy. It feeds energy to certain entities somewhere. And the manifested entities of the negative polarity, they feed on blood. So they have to stage wars and everything at certain places intermittently.
Be a fighter for no.
Yes. But the other polarity, which is the positive polarity, that is the natural one, which is supposed to protect us, feeds on love, compassion, kindness, forgiveness. And so when you read the book of Galatians, talk about the works of the flesh and the gifts of the spirit, which are opposing energies. But unfortunately, we have less people in that state of consciousness, that the state of unconditional love. Hence, it's kind of making it difficult for these energies to come in and then to intervene. So they only are able to contact the very few that are on that line. But it's not enough because the opposing for which is coming, they are coming with everything they have.
I said they also need this place to occupy until you don't expect somebody back into AB.
Yes. So the point is that, I'm only trying to plead through a platform to...
So try and working on him or herself.
Himself to discover himself. Because once you discover yourself, you're going to discover love because you're created in the image of unconditional love. Now, I also want to tell people that we must also look for spirituality that connects you to the light and sound energy, because that is the epitome of all the spiritual practices that will connect you directly to the spiritual intelligences that's supposed to back us in this coming era. So because we are created in the image of light and in the image of sound and the intelligence of light, or the attribute of love, light. So when what Bible says that let us create man in our image and likeness, that image they are talking about, it's sound, and that likeness is light. And that likeness, intelligence, the light is intelligence, and the sound is love. So on the day of Pentecost, when the Holy Spirit will come, they said, oh, the sound of a rushing wind, and there's a light on their heads like the flame of fire. So man, our true attributes, what actually form the composition of our soul is light and sound. And that is the truth. So when you realize yourself, when you go inside, you get a connection and you come to self-realization, that you don't see anything. The only thing you see is your light of yourself, and then you see you hear the sound resonating from the left, from the right. Normally we ignore the left because of the opposing agent, from the right or from your crown. That is the only thing you realize. And from there you realize that you have a more expanded intuition. Once that expanded intuition is opened, you have a direct connection with the hierarchies. Then they begin to direct you, do this, don't do that. No, this is what is coming. You do have to do this, don't do this, do that. Then they give you what I call real-time directions. As you walk, as you are on the go, they direct you. What is happening real time? No, okay, no, stop talking. Okay, it's okay. Direct, go. Move your car, don't move your car. Today, go by public transport. No, go with this person's car. They give you real-time directions. So, and this is the only way we can stand in that time. Because all knowledge will be taken away from us, including even the Bible. That's what the Bible said.
Am I any different? Anyways, so thank you for the advice. The word to a wise is enough. I think so on this same platform a year ago, me any Dr. Parkwesi, yet na platform we are also the same as some we are in China. I think 6 months or something ago. Are you was me Mrs. Sani in our studio be recorded spiritual obekai me de sare me de chewing stick me de katana that's why I didn't ura no ni nyina me de bi ba studio ha ene mo be kasa ye na osofo bi fa kotena we so say me ma beda ne brunsam sumu adwini swa e wo fom. And so yeah, feel say the na footwo no de ama obi antumi enforce obi a de ebeka ne de ebeka me say platform we abrochira obetua millions of because UK obroni bibi say how much does your president pay you know I'm say hey money president matna ha ye adwuma company bi an sponsor matare da do UK a whole company sponsored my boot my dress and everything into this the level I operate. And I make a time with Maame Grace. Polarity, okay. Just this Sunday, me know what discussing when na. Meaning what else you want to hear? Wo twen akọ heaven. Tie we na de fatena ha. Heaven ni do a wako. Asema kakra obeka no waka. Me de bi asoso opa afa. Wan fan so a ye nyina yetim eyeyi a eye nyina yetim. SP Mensah ma wako abawai. Ma wako abakese pa. We appreciate you and your knowledge. We are grateful. But talk to your people. Obi no ka the higher powers. Talk to your higher powers. I'm also talking to my own. That at least so since there are people who are like a signet ring, meboa. So they should have things to do. Me, I believe things will happen. I believe people will get through to us and everything will be better. So me, I have so much hope. Say Bibi,
yes, okay. The point is that what I know is that if I am talking about averting the situation.
No, I understand.
To avert the situation, this is what we need to do in order to create a lot of love consciousness within the earth space. But if we don't avert the situation, unfortunately, it's going to happen. But the point is that life will still triumph.
Yes.
Not that there will be total extinction. Life will still triumph. But then why would you have to sit down
for things to go?
Let's say there's a war in a country, with many things are destroyed, and there are very few people who are left as now supposed to come and then rebuild the whole nation again. This is what we are trying to say. So we are trying to avert that situation. So we need more recruits. In that word, recruit
we need more audience. That's it. Okay, so Busia topic now you discuss the secret behind successful businesses and why most businesses fail. But me person me bisa no question back could be before we get into this topic because of what he's saying and now what we are discussing. Medical culture said you all can take it. Just gain your consciousness. When you know yourself, you see yourself in somebody. And you find it difficult to hurt anyone. Mama yenyi na yenyi gullibility ni fi mu. So we are able to save our own situation and condition, not for anybody. So at this point, since you talk to these superior beings or these entities, what is your take, or what have you seen, or what have you heard from them about this homosexualism thing that is going on in this our country, Ghana?
Okay, you see, the homosexuality has two faces to it, from what I know. One has to be miseducation, okay, and one has to be the disorientation of the natural order. And there is beings that are responsible for that. That is the intent. Let's say, for instance, they dwell on certain knowledge that you feel like a man trapped in a woman's body. Sometimes, so those are some of the.
I understand that part. Yeah. We've heard these things several times, and we still can't say because this is what you feel like malaria or malaria. Yes. We still look for solution, but that's not what I want to hear. I don't want to hear about your mind. Yeah. I want to know whether these beings that you talk to have said anything about it. I'm asking you this because I know one entity that claims they are also trying to create their own world. So them creating their own world, as for the consequences or the outcome that will come out of it, some of the things, like you said, we can't discuss it here, but I want to hear if your own entities or the beings that talk to you has said anything about this thing coming to this our country.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, that what they are trying to say is that, say, those beings that are claiming to create their own world, you see, you have two types of energies in this world, the positive and the negative. The loving energy and then the hateful energy. Those beings that are trying to create this, they are trying to disrupt the law of nature that the intelligent beings have created, because everything that comes from the source, the real source, people talk about the source, but when they talk about the source, they end at the creator. But the creator is beyond the source. You see, because the source is beyond the creator. But the creator is within duality, and the duality is the polarity, as you talk about the male and the female, so that life reproduction will go on. So what I know that I have been told is that concept going on, or that energy which is flowing through our current, is the cause energy which is trying to halt the concept of reprocreation, which is not in line with divine love, because that principle contradicts the principle of divine love. And those energies are lesser beings that operates within the fourth dimension, and that they have one agenda, and that is to also prove that they also have power, and they are behind a lot of, and that being those entities in the fourth dimension, a lot of them are what the pastors use, because they have a lot of miraculous abilities, and they some of them even, let me tell you something, inside, okay, they took me to a being. Now the being has both sexes. So if he wants to engage in a relationship with you, what he does is that if you're a man, he will change his sex to be a woman. So you would think that you're having an affair with a woman, but actually he's a man. Then, so that that concept of reprocreation will not manifest. And so then I asked the entity, but why is he doing that? And he said, no, I should ask the being. And he said that this is his way of trying to fight against the law of nature, the law of the creator. So that is what is happening, and whatever is happening within our physical consciousness is happening outside there, because everything that is happening within manifest creation takes place in the non-manifest creation. That's what we read the Bible say, out of the invisible cometh the visible.
They even say that what the spirit conceives give birth to the
physical. And what is above, so below. As above, so below.
Yeah.
So that is what. So the battle we are going on is a battle which is much more, and sometimes it's very difficult to have the adequate words to explain the things you perceive inside. I was telling some group of people, I think yesterday we had a lecture, and I was telling them, like, what I'm coming to tell them, they should try and connect to my frequency. So maybe the entities may explain directly to them, because the limited language of man is so much limited that it's unable to express the limitless nature of what you experience inside. So sometimes when you try to explain it, you know that what you are explaining is not adequate to what you have, that has been transmitted to your soul. So that is the whole. So as above, so below. Whatever is transpiring up, the same thing is transpiring down here. And if the down needs to come, the up needs to come down, it needs a conduit. Likewise, so if the positive needs to come down, manifest down, it needs a conduit. And when the negative also needs to come down, it needs a conduit. That's the whole thing. Now the point that, and it comes back to the point of the request I am making, that the availability of conduits.
I understand this. You are just explaining the things these things attract.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Ghana as a country. And I don't want to hear about, I'm not asking about what you know or what you have deduced from all these things. I want to know whether your superpower or your entities or...
I don't have a superpower.
No, everybody that has, yes, everybody
that
has an intelligence that talks to him talks beyond normal understanding. So we call it sometimes super something or bigger powers or whatever. Yeah. So I want to know whether they've had any conversations with you about this thing and Ghana,
relation
not the
to
world.
Ghana, no, but what most of the information that I receive is about what is happening globally.
Okay, me, I care about my people, so I want to know about Ghana.
You see, most of the time, this is what happens. You see, territorial discrimination or territorial segregations, it's an intellectual thing because it was created. When you transcend, if you really transcend the consciousness and go up, it's even difficult to locate, this is Ghana. You understand? Because all these things were, and even when you go to certain limits, you see, when the thing is transmitted, most of the messages that come are universal message, because in the beginning, the earth was null and void. So it was a large vacuum. And some of these things are man-created. So maybe the differences has to deal with the level of frequency we are dealing with. So you see, when it's lower frequency, then you may have direct information. For instance, when we talk about what we now call Ghana, the jurisdiction called Ghana, some time ago it used to be called Gold Coast. Now we call it Ghana. I don't know what it will be called the next 10 years because these are human creation. So maybe the entities that control that jurisdiction, if you are dealing with that entity that controls that jurisdiction, it may transmit specific knowledge regarding that jurisdiction. But the point is that when you are dealing with the universal energy, because the spiritual intelligences that they don't discriminate, because I was telling somebody that when you say God punish, and then I can cause my spirit to punish, well, I try to figure out what kind of God you are talking about and what kind of spirit you are talking about. Because the real essence, the divine universal essence, the all-encompassing, that's not punish, because it does not even say, when you transcend consciousness, you see beings. That is what I know. I'm talking about my experience. When you transcend consciousness, you don't see the black man, you don't see the white man.
I don't want us to drag this issue.
Yeah.
I don't want us to drag this issue because when you started talking about how you feel people should gain more of their consciousness or themselves to save this dimension, you said there are some entities who want this place and they are creating things.
Not Ghana, the whole of,
who want this dimension, let me put it that way, who are trying to create mess or what have you, chaos, just to have their way. It simply means spirituality or these beings that we are here, we have boundaries and we have what have you. If not, why wouldn't they stay there? They want here. They know this place is different from that place, but we won't talk about that today, because else it will eat into the topic, because I think we've almost taken 20 minutes or something out of this. And this is a business topic, which is very, very important to me, because you might be able to gain your consciousness, but when your heart is sick and your head is not sound, you can also attract these darker or lower vibrations. And I say you can even activate your reptilian cortex out of fear because your business is suffering or something. So I don't want us to go get static here and leave this topic, because it's quite important to me. So you are watching the biggest and the largest and tallest spiritual platform. I am me, and I'm here with Mr. F.P. Mensah. He's not a stranger here anyways. He's a regular member or a familiar person with this platform. Mr. F.P. Mensah, the secret behind successful business is what? What is business in the first place?
A business is a terminology we have created for ourselves, where we deal with exchange in community or service in order to make profit, reasonable profit. Basically, that is what business is all about. It's commerce. It's something that has to do with transaction. Okay, and we may look at business from two different angles: the fiscal aspect of business and the non-fiscal aspect of business. And the reason why most businesses, especially when I say most businesses, fail, I didn't want to put black people or African businesses so that to look, so it would be general, because there could be somebody outside, there was a white guy who may have started business and it didn't work. But you see, we blacks, most of our businesses don't thrive. You started business, either to remain the same small, the way it is, or sometimes you realize that it goes off. Competing with these international businesses, we cannot. You be here, somebody, a Chinese man or an Indian man comes with a small package or something, in no time you realize the business becomes big. Now, I have seen a lot of people talk about the fiscal support to those businesses, and that is why they strive when they come to Africa. But when I assess it properly, I realize that there's something missing. Because why can somebody set a business and the business can be there for 100 years, generations will come and then the businesses thrive, like companies like Guinness, McDonald's, all those big companies. They are there. It started by human being like us. So what is the problem? So I realized that we have what you call, when you want to set up a business, we have what you call feasibility studies. Any reasonable person who understands business wants to set up a business, because I have run a private business before. You have to do your feasibility studies. And some of these feasibility studies entails what you call industry taste saturation and all those things that they teach you in entrepreneurship. Yeah, people put all those fiscal things in place, yet they cannot compete with these big shots. So I asked myself, what is it that these big companies know that these small ones don't know, and that's why they survive and the other ones don't survive? Then I realized that it's all about the non-physical feasibilities. And the non-physical feasibility has to deal with, say, before you start a business, you're a spirit being. So you must start the business from the spiritual dimension. You just don't physically enter into business just like that. You need to start the business from a certain dimension. And you must make sure that you, as a being that you came to this physical consciousness, you came with a purpose, with a reason. You came with certain natural abilities, certain strengths, certain weaknesses. Now, the business you are supposed to set up, does it fall in line with your natural purpose? Does it fall in line with your natural capability as per granted to you by your creator? This is the first thing one must establish. If you're able to establish that aspect, then you now progress. What are the other elements or contributing elements that I need to have as a person that will enable my business be established and thrive? When you're able to achieve that, then now you've gotten all those things in place. Now, what are you going to do? Where do you want to locate your business? You just don't wake up as we are here, like you were saying before, there are spirits at everywhere. Wherever you want to plant your business, people wake up with maybe office, then you go there, they say they suffer, now you be a business now. But have you committed that business? Have you seek permission from the energy that operates within that vicinity or locality? Then when you finish, do you initiate the business into the universe? Once you're able to do this spiritual homework, and then you come to the physical side where they tell you investment policies, all those things, employing, that's physical. But these are the core things that make business survive. And until we blacks get to this level where we just don't wake up and do things, hey, pure water, sikabemo, then you want to set up a pure water business. So especially in Ghana, people don't think. So they want Maame Grace to start something, and then everybody begins to
jump on it. And now everybody is in reverse.
Which reverse?
They talk your talk. Say your say.
Yes. So basically, that's the problem we're having as a people. So before you decide to set up a business, you need to investigate. I was listening to a video somebody sent me, and the guy was trying to talk about the prosperity of Apple, and when they sacked Job Steves, and then later they brought him back, and then how Apple lip jumped all of a sudden. And he made his investigation, realized that this is a man that does his everything from the spiritual dimension. Before coming, and he even gave certain books that he loves reading, and he even recommends those books like Paramahansa Yogananda books. He said those are the books Job Steve liked reading. And so you realize that every successful businessman has a secret he will never tell you. That is why Longfellow says something, say, the secret of great men is never made public. It is their glorious achievement which is meant for public consumption. Nti adea Maame Grace aya ne program aya kese no on kan kire o. But agise what's why you work as because on no on the line. He has his entities, energies out there, and he acts based on it. Be a now my catcher say this time I do this, don't do this, do that, don't do this. Now also sorry, say on also yeah river work or yeah those that me call river work. Go and do river work. One show you soon do work. No, I'm just literally, yes. You see, so the point is that you don't imitate because everybody is unique in this life. Life I want to. Everybody is unique. Or we can ask them say. When you copy in the exam of life, you are copying wrongly because everybody have different set of questions. Though you are sitting the same in the examination, but each and everybody on the table has his own question that is supposed to answer. And the question is that what is your life questions? What is your life purpose? And anything you do which is outside of this life purpose is not going to prosper. Because this is what happens. When you take the spiritual intelligence, the spiritual hierarchies, there is the last one within the sixth dimension that operates within the realms of the angels. We call them light beings. Now, these light beings are beings that are given to us to help us in our physical dimension based on our karmic agreement with the karmic board, which is the laws of karma. Now, this is what happened. These light beings sits in our aura, and at the age of about 14 weeks, when you're a fetus in your mother's womb, this light being comes into that fetus and sits in the aura of the fetus. At the same time, the soul also comes. So at that time, when you come to medicine, they call it heartbeat, because they will expect at about 14 weeks they're supposed to experience the heartbeat. The heartbeat is because the soul itself sits with the figurative heart. That's what we consider within the figurative heart, and then it comes with the light beings. So it is this light being sometimes guardian angels or spirit guides. Actually, the spirit guides, they are not spirit guides. The spirit guides themselves stays in the seventh dimension. They are part of the spiritual hierarchies. And what they do is that they guide the souls who are about to incarnate into the physical consciousness. That's where they are working. And when they finish with their training, when the soul incarnates in the physical, it is left with the light being to take instruction from the laws of light to guide the person in this physical space he's working throughout till he dies. So the light being will stay with you till you die. And that is where you have all your intelligent, all coding and everything in there. Now, what happens is that when you are coming, you sit with the karmic board. What were your agreements with the karmic board? Because everybody make an agreement with the karmic board. Where you be born, your parents, the schools you attend, the friends you make, the path you chart, the name that you be given, and all those things you agreed upon it. How many names are you going to have? How many wives are you going to marry before you finally come to that fullness of manifestation and soul experience? We sit down and agree all these things is coming, but that's why we talk about, we say the law of karma. People explain karma that what you are experiencing is karma. They call it karma because there's something you agreed with those laws that control cause and effect. The laws of karma basically control cause and effect and the experiences of the soul in the physical consciousness. So when you have these agreements, unfortunately, just like an ascended master who comes to the earth and forgets that he was an ascended master, you come to the earth and you forget because you depend on the intellect rather than depending on the soul and the spirit guide that is coded with the intelligence of why you are here. So somebody come and he's mad and he doesn't want to be mad, and the family say why he's mad and all those things, but it could be part of his karmic agreement. Somebody comes that, okay, fine, I want to be very successful. At the end of the day, I want to be poor. Somebody comes, previous incarnation I was so successful, so rich, I didn't know what was poverty. This time around, I want to come and experience poverty. So these are the life experiences that will come. Now, aside this life experience, we are given certain potentials. As we go through this experience, they aid us to comfortably go through these experiences. Because when you watch the pattern of creation, manifest creation, you realize that the concept of manifest creation have no intention of its inhabitants suffering. I always speak from the Bible point of view because I'm a Christian, and those
you are what?
I'm a Christian, but sometimes they fight with me. But
who told you were a Christian?
So I talk from more from the biblical point of view. When you look at creation, okay, everything was created within manifest creation before man was created. If the intelligent creator sitting at the apex of the seventh dimension thinks that man should partake in the suffering of creation, he wouldn't have created all things. before creating man. So the concept was for man to just live in an environment conducive for his own spiritual development and soul experiences. But because we drift from that part of our karmic agreement, then I say Adam sacked from the Garden of Eden, then he goes into the wilderness, struggling and hustling. That is how the whole thing is like. So the question is that now, how do you know which business you are supposed to invest in? It's something you have to know. You have to ask yourself. Somebody came to me some time ago and I told him, there we a good business, you're a contractor, but go and cotton cosmetics.
Okay, so you better abedru baby. Yes, say how would you know say business now no? Yeah. Are good for you or not? No. Maame bisa way because based on your own submission, you are saying that obi wo ha ofi we are say ba no we are say ba no or cry say me ba me previous life me huska ti we me kwa I want to experience poverty kakra ebi a me person me could do a me ye me modam like you said.
Yeah.
So if that happens to that person, why would we say, or if things are happening, why would we say something has failed? Is there anything failure if this is how we think?
Oh no, you see, failure is relative according to mind. Because that's why I use the word success. I didn't use the word failure. And
is that how businesses fail?
Why some?
Most,
yes. Why most? Most in the sense, that's what I told that when you look at the cosmic order of creation, everything operates within the law of multiplicity. So once you set your mind to do something, if you, let's say for instance, you have to see that progression.
Matthias, yeah, but we say obi wo honoma or bano or can so obedi here. Obi won so say me ba say me be bodam ne ade. So if san crofo na ba na de omo kan na be abeg see omo so can we call that one to fail?
No, you can't call. You don't call it failure in the sense, say failure. You know, I should explain that aspect very well. You see, failure is relative to what we perceive. So let's say, for instance, why most businesses fail. Mm-hmm. Let's say, for instance, you want to become a graphic artist. The concept of failure there is, I use in the concept that you failed because instead of being a graphic artist, you are a carpenter. Mm-hmm. You get the whole thing. So that concept of failure is what I'm talking about.
And that's what I'm saying. Say nipa no bano. Okra so be carpenter. No abedu ha na ne kon ado so be graphic art. Not still our ko end wo carpenter wa. What is failure about this?
No, you are not getting me. What I'm trying to say, the failure concept I'm talking about is me. I was supposed to be a carpenter. Then I decided to be a graphic artist. Mm-hmm. That is the concept of failure because you are not on the course that you. But when you're able to finally find your space, okay, then you are not within the.
So it's all about finding the space. So if you fail and if you don't find the space and you fail, you don't call it a failure.
No, that's it. When you don't find your space, you have failed.
And that's what I'm saying. Yes. That one is what is called failure.
Yes.
But so won't find the way. So won't find it now. You be before now failing. Yeah. The foundations of your failure is you not finding yourself. You not finding the reason why you are here. So
if I'm supposed to produce this candle and I produce this candle, maybe you see the point of the concept of failure within our local. Fiscal world is about money or riches. But if I'm supposed to produce this candle, and that is my mission, and I produce this candle, but I may not benefit from I have not failed.
Okay, so
because
that's what I'm asking.
the purpose why I came here
is been fulfilled.
Yes, it has been fulfilled. So but if I'm supposed to produce this candle, and I don't produce this candle, and I go and produce tissue paper, I can have all the money in tissue paper. I have still failed. So I'm looking at it not from the fiscal dimension of what failure is, but from the non-fiscal. That's what I'm saying. What we are going to talk about is going to deal with the non-fiscal aspect of it.
Okay, I understand. So those who don't believe in any of these spiritual things, those who don't believe in anything that we are discussing at all,
they are not our problem.
They are not our problem. The omu fail, you omu fail. Omu prosperity, omu prosperity.
It's their choice.
They are hanging.
Yeah.
Hanging people.
But not everybody. Listen, I have talked to people, and I know definitely you have such experience of people. You talk to people who are very, very, very stinking rich, but deep in themselves,
they are not happy.
Aside they feel they have not lived up to expectation. And that feeling of not living up to expectation is failure to them.
Not yet.
And I know people who have lived all their wealth. When they find out, they pursued spirituality. Because they realize that their space is within the self-realization space.
Yes, you are watching the biggest and the largest. Me pesa because it's a business something, you know. Me pesa me dem anobe chiche mti na maye kom because businesses are suffering a lot. Inti na maye di ami nye we na me pesa won come more. So give us three businesses obi whether onim ne ho. Because these things normally don't say no cry could be okra could be say help me to know their minimum cry no cry another story we will talk about one day. So now Fanny say yeah what 10 people were there muha. Okay. And I hear more with these lectures no say the secret behind successful business and why most businesses fail. 10 people never ha. So asam no center no menko ebinso their own nim no ho. Near on this spirituality indi they are started the business dada near onim ne come and say you may be over we are bedi here on also ye you must onyeska these things no take us through.
Okay, if I understand what you are saying, yeah, but as I say, if it's not what you are saying, you can put me on the right path.
Sure.
Yeah. Say when you talk about this aspect of this thing, and yet you can't say it in general. As we said, life as we see it, you know, obia on the examination paper, but the questions are different. So you cannot lecture 10 people on a general aspect because we deal with individuality. So for instance, the date you were born has influence on which business you are supposed to do. The name, your personality name also has certain influences. Now, when you are able to come up with these two concepts of yourself now, then you now have to decide what kind of business name you are going to choose. Now, this business name you are going to choose should reflect the energy and the vibrational frequency of the business you want to do. This is where sometimes the conflict comes in. Because in this manifestation, everything is energy. But bibia resonate energy. And the energy, this word actually doesn't operate on letters, but it operates on numbers. Because that's the geometry of this universe. So everything is resonating in energy. So if you don't get your side of the energy and what best resonates with your energy, then you create obstruction. That's this whole thing we're talking about. And that obstruction is what may be classified or may in our local language, limited language, we classify as maybe failure. You see, so when, for instance, if I sit down and then let me take a scenario. Okay. For instance, you want to make a business, okay? What kind of business you want to do? There are some people who naturally, and I was speaking to somebody from the UK, and I make sure my mind was but naturally, everything is falling line. It told me, I now understand why things are going faster for me the way it's going. So, for instance, I want to have a classical scenario. Let's say, for instance, you have Jerome TV, controlled by somebody with the personality name called Grace. This is what we have. Running a program we call Revelations. You see, these three things should be some way, somehow should be connected. There shouldn't be friction between these three things. If there is friction, realize that you will be having that fluctuation in performance. But if there's no friction, we won't say everything naturally go and things happen, then you may not necessarily what won't run out. They don't tell you the way the progress is coming. That is how the whole thing is like. So you realize that the kind of business what these people are doing is related to media relation, is related to dealing with public, is related to spirituality, is related. So we have to get this element resonating in all of these things. If we don't have these things resonating, then we're going to have a problem. Okay, so we'll use the concept of numerology. So those who are watching, if they want to because the board is very small. So we use, there are two types of numerology, but I prefer the Pythagoras principle.
Okay.
And we have the Chaldean principle too.
Okay.
That we use to keep to see the vibration of the words we use. Because Bible says that he who is wise and has understanding, let it calculate the number of his name. So every name has a number, and the number is the power of the name. So, for instance, so let us take the numerology, the Pythagoras simply uses 1 to 9 as the basis, and then Chaldeans exonerate the 9 because they feel the 9 is a divine number, and that anything that goes into 9, when you create its numerology, you still get 9. It doesn't matter that you can call 244,000 times 9. When you create the numerology, you're still going to have 9. So they drop out the 9. So we are going to use the Chaldean, which is very easy and straightforward. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this is the Pythagoras principle with regards to know the vibration of names and the effect of names on people. Now, so you just arrange the alphabet according to the numbers. So we have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. So these alphabets that we use in our names, these are their corresponding vibrational frequencies. Later on, maybe we can come and then talk about how we got the numbers according to their angles, because every number was determined by the angles of 45 degrees that made up that number that resonates with its vibration. So we have a name like Grace first. Let's talk about Grace. So I want the audience to understand how it works, so that
go ahead.
because we are teaching them.
Problem. 7.
J is what?
7.
7. R is what?
9.
9. A is 1. C is what? 3. And B is 5. Sorry, E is 5. This is the numerical strength of Grace. Now, we are going to break this thing down into a single digit. The single digit will determine the vibrational frequency of your name personality, because that first name constitutes your personality. So we have 7 plus 9. How much do we have? 16, 17,
20, 25.
25. So we have number 7. That's the vibration which is controlling the name Grace. Okay. Now I've done a chart, and maybe later when I'm going, I can leave it so that you can type it upon. Let's see what number 7 has to offer us. It says that number 7, interested in technical, scientific, and religious or spiritual subjects. So realize that here, the work we are doing which has to do with spirituality is here. It says that you have a very fine mind and a good intuition. Can start and finish any assigned task at your own pace and according to your own time. You are perfectionist. You just don't want things done anyhow. You understand? And you are logical in your reasoning. So in all this here, Grace will pick spirituality for Grace here. And then a perfectionist doing things in the right order. So this is the effect Grace is giving us. Now we are going to look at Jerome. Jerome TV. So please, let's go. This is 7, 5, 9, 6, 4, 2, and then 4. So this is what we have for Jerome TV. So we are going to, so let's, because 7, E, 5.
That's 12.
R, I just want to make sure because of the numerology, so that we don't make, R is 9, O is 6, M is 4, T is 2, and then V is 4. So we have 12,
21,
21,
27, 31, 33, 37.
37, which is the number 1.
1.
That has to do with you're going to be a forebearer in this industry. So the space or the establishment you are using to channel the energy of grace, the establishment will give the concept of grace or the vibration frequency of grace to be a forebearer in that space. So you are that's why you all say you are the mother of all platforms. You understand? Because they are coming out of, they look at what you are doing. And then, you see, and then let's look at Revelations. Because let's check the chart for number 1. Number 1 is independent attitude, executive ability, good leader, self-confident, willpower, excellent mind, good starter, practical and rational. So that is for Revelation. So that is the leadership.
That's for Jerome TV.
Sorry. So for Jerome TV. Then we come to the Revelations. Revelations, I think we are going to have...
R is 1.
Nine.
R
is 9. E is 5. V is 4. E is 5. L is 3. A is 1. T is 2. I is 9. O is 6. N is 5. And X is 2. So we cross check it. R is 9. Yes. E is 5. Yes. V is 4. V is 4, yes. E is 5, yes. L is 3, yes. A is 1. T is 2. I is 9. O is 6. N is 5. S is 1. So if S is 1, then we go back to it again. 9, 14.
18.
No, 9, 14, 18.
23,
23, 26, 27,
29, 38, 44. What is that?
5.
49, 50.
50. That is number 5. So let's see what we have. That if we have a quality within the revelation that consonates with. So number 5 says that likes new experience. So you don't want to do things the way every time. So sometimes you want to go out there, start a new thing. Traveling, a lot of analytical, but the key word that resonates with this one is public relation and presentation. So realize that the revelation has to do with your PR ability and then the ability to be a good presenter, which makes you an exception. So if you watch what we are doing here, and the names you are using, whether you know it or you don't know it, whether you've done your own calculation, you've not done your own calculation, this is what is the energy which is pushing what you are doing. This is the natural resonation energy or vibration energy which is pushing what you are doing. This alone sets the base. And this alone is enough to fight a lot of opposing forces for you because you are operating within certain natural frequencies. When you're able to know these things, okay, then now we have to now consider what are we'll come back to. Now, you are successful in establishing this concept of yourself. So you know what business, the program name you are using, what will be the name of your company, and your vibrational frequency, you yourself. I don't want to bring in, because you are the host and you are a revered person, your date of birth, I don't want to bring in it. So we would have had your date of birth also, that would also have its own influence on it. Now, once you're able to establish this thing, you are good to go with your business. The next thing after this one is you have to know certain attributes of your personality, which is the grace. That gives grace what's your lucky color. And the lucky color will constitute your logo, your color scheme. What's your lucky color? So you realize that certain companies, you can't change
their colors.
Their color. When I'm a graphic artist, so that one I know very well. When Guinness gives you an assignment, because I was then doing, I had a subcontract with their labels. They give you the percentages of the primary colors that constitute their logo. So you must produce the slightest change in the mixing of the colors, they are going to reject the whole job because they know what that color carries and the vibration of the color and how it is pushing the organization. So then you have to know your color. What is the color which best resonates with your personality? You have to know what is your gemstone. You know, everybody has a gemstone. Either emerald, jasmine. So different gemstones. You should have your gemstone that works well with your personality. You should know your metal. What metal do you use? Do you use gold? Do you use a diamond? You're doing everything. All is about, because now it is your personality which you have gotten all this right, but the vibration of your personality, because one are running business, you know. So the vibration of your personality, when say, Indians, Chinese, Lebanon, they don't joke with those things. Jewels, your lucky perfume. What's your lucky perfume? Business. Once you put on that perfume, you see before the person, your vibration is already high. Perfume scent, cheerful look on your face, on his or her face. So what's your lucky perfume? And a midst of some other things, your lucky number, your lucky day. It's a day now. I say meeting for transaction. Even the lucky day, which of them are your lucky hours? Which hour do you are supposed to meet the person? You,
those who were reading your cards, I was doing these beautiful certificates for you guys. And I stopped doing it. I was doing this. I do this, and I'm very good at it. So I was doing it. I will put your picture on it and do a whole certificate for you. So in case you travel to India or China and you want to go to any temple and they want to know, you show this and then you are gone. Quack once in the be read why am I no quack one no name into details. What you just decoded here, it's everything I did. The reason I have my colors, revelations colors, I have time with mommy, even my couch and all that, my curtains colors and all that. I do this thing. I'm very good at it. So this, and people were saying, I have the biggest crystal shop in Africa, honestly.
Okay.
Yes, I have the biggest crystal shop in Africa. And Ghana, it's here in this office.
Ah, okay.
And
I never knew about that.
And these metals, copper and what have you, I have them here. Yes, I have them here, and people were saying, and you'll be no here copper. One will say, the Awoka beginning no, and the show no for today. If we will come down and reinforce and see that FP Mensah is good at this side, Maame Grace is good at this side, make a reinforce here. We are able to drive our continent to where we will all have our peace. But when it gets to a point that people feel spirituality is not investment, rather it's a profit-making something, that's when you say this and people will turn it like this. I have done this certificate for a lot of people. I stopped because for the pressure, so BP, I am growing with grace. You don't come and give me grace. You don't come and give me BP. So this is Mr. FP Mensah. Please, can you be here on live for me? Because this demands life. So we are able, if we are able to put 10 businesses together for people, I think it will be beautiful.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so
you get an ample time, so
so you give us. Okay, let's close and discuss this.
There's one more important thing.
Okay, please go ahead.
Very important. After, that's the main reason why I came here. This is just the technical, non-physical work. After you've done all these things, now you need to initiate the business. So please just have some time, or you think we should put it in the
yes, I feel I feel you should be here live.
Okay.
So that the initiations, I know we can't do that on this platform, but people will ask you enough questions. So those who would want to take a move to do that will do that, because I better half. And we will come live and then we will do the initiations and do some for be for one person, be for others to know that this. But the audio coding is like that. I know the numbers and all that. The reason Revelations have this colors time with Maame Grace, the Quest has another colors and all that. So thank you so much. This is just on point. Like you hit it right on the nail. This is the peak of all knowledges. Thank you so much for coming. But you will come on live. The reason I'm not going to take your last words because you are coming to continue this same conversation in the evening. So enwumbre we nyame adoma ye nyina ye beko na life na ye bisa no how to initiate this, and a few people that will be lucky would have their business set up like this, but the making nyina ne say hwe mummy yembra form, because situation na ye wo mu no say yamba form na yanya ya dwen say ye beto ye bo aye niama, we will mess ourselves up, and when we mess things up omo mo tia brochi omo breo omo nyefia. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. So thank you for watching. So see you live. Now we'll be some questions. Shalom.